Before we start, a quick note. The story I'm telling is a fictionalized reimagining of my personal experiences. All names, companies, and details are changed or dramatized and don't reflect any real workplace. Stardew Valley and all in-game locations belong to ConcernedApe. I'm only using those fictionalized places to create a cozy, immersive storytelling experience. Thanks, and enjoy. But I think we last left off where Garth, my manager, was really picking on Chloe, who was the manager that everybody actually liked, because she was getting people promoted and he wasn't. Anybody who ever worked for him had left. At this point, I've been working for him for about 2 years, which is the longest anybody had lasted with him, but it was not easygoing at all. So Chloe, again, was like somebody who everybody loved. She just got her work done. She got people promoted. She's a little autistic, and I'm saying that because she actually said that. Like, she came out in the meeting and said, like, yes, I am neurodivergent and blah, 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 to kind of explain, like, why she doesn't necessarily get jokes and why she maybe needs a little bit more literal translations of things. But I think that makes her great because it makes her actually very empathetic and curious, and, you know, I love her. I love Chloe. Garth, however, saw how popular she was, and so he started picking on her in the ways that, you know, she couldn't help it. He would talk about how she dressed, how her desk was messy. And, like, Chloe, again, like, she's a very, very good designer, because she is a senior designer, but she designs for the kids department. So she's not necessarily, like, the most fancy dresser. Like, she has two or three kids of her own. And so she dresses like a mom, and she designs for children. So I personally think that she dresses appropriate for her role, but Garth was always like, you know, just talking shit about how she looked. He would talk shit about how her desk was always messy, about how she always had things on her desk and everything like that. Again, in Chloe's defense, she had things on her desk because she was actually working on a lot of projects at once, because kids is a really big department. And she also had the most amount of assistants to manage. So she had a lot of projects going on at any given time. Whereas Garth had nothing on his desk because he did nothing. My desk, however, was a mess because I was doing all the projects that he should have been working on. So yes, his desk was conveniently always free and clear of things to do because he wasn't doing shit. I really, really liked Chloe and really wanted to work for her. But that's not what ended up happening, unfortunately. Hey! Editing Blue here. I just want to clarify a couple of things. To start with, the assistant's name that was hired by Chloe is Noah. He had less experience than I did, and most of his experience was working as an independent designer. I just want to make sure I added that in because I think that originally got cut off in my recording when I was doing some editing. So here is the backstory. Okay, thanks. Because I had worked with like Sophia, who was our technical designer, and Jasper, who was our color and quality analyst, I had actually mastered, I want to say, like 6 areas of the data entry system, whereas most people in my position only mastered 2. And knew about like several more beyond that. So I actually had more knowledge on how to work our program than most of the managers at that point. Again, Chloe was aware of that because she also would help me out when Garth wouldn't. And so when Noah came, Chloe was more than happy to let me help train Noah and kind of be his primary touch point. Noah and Chloe kind of had a little bit of like headbutting at first because again, Noah was used to being more independent and just like working on his own. But after a while, they got along really good. And, you know, Chloe was really happy with his work. Noah was really happy to be there. And it was nice that I was able to, like, you know, be able to at least get along with a team, even if it wasn't necessarily my team. As you can probably imagine, though, Garth really did not like that. He saw me getting close to other people in the office, and he wanted to shut that down right away. Could be a great manager like Chloe, he decided to offload almost all of his tasks onto me. So before, he was just maybe doing some like sketching occasionally, maybe doing some fabric reviewing occasionally. At this point, he completely stopped doing anything. It would be to the point that's like he would have meetings that were scheduled and he wouldn't go. And when you would say like, hey, where were you at this meeting? He would say like, oh, well, you attended, right? To me. Like, yes, I attended. Like, well, then why did I need to be there? Because you're the manager. And you're supposed to be managing. And if you're not, then what the fuck am I doing? I would ask for his help a lot of time because, again, I'm only an assistant. So, like, even though I was there for all the meetings, people knew that I had the ability to get it done. I had no authority in any of the meetings. So if there was a question as to whether or not we should go forward with a product or what we should change, I could give my opinion, but I couldn't actually make any real changes to it. I needed to have my manager. Yeah, so I started doing pretty much all of his work and my work. I would attend the meetings, and I was not able to get anything actually done without his permission or without him to actually sign off on it because he was the manager. And so then I was also made in charge of like his personal schedule keeping as well. So it was extremely frustrating and very much beyond my job description. So when I would, I started like telling the director, I was like, listen, like, I don't think that this is how things are supposed to be done. I'm seeing all the other teams and how they're working. I've been working very closely with Chloe and Noah and like the rest of that team as well. And they don't have the same kind of dynamic that I have with Garth. So am I missing something? Is something like weird about this? Because it feels weird to me. And they told me that I was just complaining and not wanting to be a team player, and pretty much put it all back on me as if like I had done something deeply wrong by even bringing up the idea that maybe things weren't quite right. But that kind of just ended up being the general theme. So instead of working, now he's like actively telling like Tracy and Felicity like, hey guys, do you guys want to go to lunch? And they started their lunch club. They would go to lunch for an hour to an hour and a half every day, sometimes off campus during the work at campus days. And on the work from home days, they would go from anywhere from like, 2 to 3 hour lunches, sometimes longer. The only reason I knew about this again was because he invited Felicity to his lunch club while I was sitting right there. And he said that he and Tracy had been doing it for a while, so he pretty much just admitted the entire thing in front of me. I did have headphones on at the time, so he probably didn't think I was like could hear him, but I used to keep my headphones like super low because I was like still at work, But yeah, that's what he ended up just kind of doing. So on the work from home days, he was literally just eating out. Welcome back, Rodon-san. Welcome back, Realist. Thank you guys for waiting for the ads. And I then knew that I was completely and pretty much abandoned. So like, if I needed help like on a work from home day, it was 99% chance that I was not going to get any help. So I just decided to, put my head down and do my work and do the best I could, because what the fuck else was I going to do? So yeah, they're going on their lunch club while I am pretty much getting all the work done and doing the best that I can, helping out other team members. But at the same time, like, all my other team members were extremely happy with my work because A, it was getting done, and B, I didn't have an attitude about it. Like, I actually really enjoy working, especially in my field, because I really feel accomplished, getting things done. And so for me, it was no problem to just like take on a project and finish it. If somebody said, hey, can you help me with this? Like, I'm always like, sure. Not because like I feel like I need to get extra brownie points, but it's just like I really enjoy having like a project and having it finished. Like, to me, that's just like the most satisfying thing ever. So all of my other coworkers really enjoyed having me on their teams, having me work on their projects, but I had to do it kind of clandestinely because, again, if Garth saw me working with somebody and saw me happy and heard that I was like laughing or saw me smiling, he would give me some random ass project to do to, distract me or just take me away from whatever I was working on that made me happy. And then he would take credit for the work that I did. So even when I was like trying to actually just like help my other coworkers and whatever, I had to be super quiet about it, and they had to be quiet about it as well. obviously that made me feel pretty upset because, like, you know you have friendships and you know you have good relationships with people, but at the same time they're afraid to talk to you in front of your manager. So anytime people would talk to me, they'd have to pull me to the side or, you know, meet me outside of work or things like that. And that was super stressful and just kind of disheartening. Finally, they decided to hire a new manager for the men's team. And at the time, the assistant who was working there, she had been there, I think, I won't say by herself, for like about a year at that point. And she did apply for the position as manager, but I will say that she was pretty inexperienced in general. Like, I think this had maybe been her first job. So like while she had been working like that desk alone, she did have a lot of support from like all the other managers while she was there. So I do think that she did need more direction than, you know, maybe she thought she did. But yeah, they decided to hire a new manager for the men's team. And he was foreign for the purposes of Jojamart. We're gonna say that he was from like Europe, maybe like French or something like that. And we're gonna call him Olivier. And yeah, Olivier being like a very unapologetic Frenchman was like a little eccentric, I guess you could say. I thought he was a hoot. I thought he was great. But a lot of people thought he was just kind of weird and abrasive, and found it kind of hard to get along with him because he would really say what was on his mind and just do whatever the fuck he wanted to do. But again, I had no problem with it because I thought that shit, like, might as well be him. He was actually very creative, a lot of fun. He liked to laugh a lot. Again, he's very like bombastic, I would say, like just very like I don't want to like do his accent because again, it's like he wasn't actually like European, and I don't want to like fuck up the accent. But he was just really, really fun, and like just didn't really care if people like heard him, like, you know, like laughing or who he was talking to or what he was saying. Just really outspoken in that way. His assistant ended up leaving shortly after he got there because, again, she was upset that she didn't get the promotion. And so there was an open table in the same position that I was in, which would have been a lateral move, with a brand new manager who seemed to kind of need a lot of help learning the culture of Jojamart and fitting in. So, of course, I said to the director, to my manager, to Olivier, hey, I would love to work with him. I think that we can really do great things. I know a lot about a lot of things now. Even though like I'm an assistant, I can still probably help train him, help him fit into the culture, help him learn like all like the secrets of the data entry system, this, that, and the third. I'm very fast. I'm very organized. I think on my feet. Like I think this would be a really, really good fit. Olivier and I talked about it, and he was actually really, really excited about it. He talked to one of his people on his team, the technical designer on his team, and she knew me, of course, because she had worked with me she had seen me work the entire time, and she knew how well I worked with Sophia. So she was like, yeah, I think that Blue would be a great addition to our team. We should totally try to get her on. Then he went to Garth, because that's how things were done at Jojamart. You had to talk to, like, the managers had to talk to each other, and then the decision was made. Again, the way it was supposed to work was if you had a good record, like you had like good reviews the entire time and you were doing well on like all your tasks, then it shouldn't be a problem to, move you to a different department if you wanted to move and if the other manager wanted to move you as well. But as you can imagine with Garth, it kind of quickly became a really big fucking problem. Olivier again approached him like you're supposed to and asked him if he would be okay, if Garth would be okay if I were to join Olivier's team. The day that it happened, I were talking to Olivier before he went to Garth and just telling him how excited I was to join men's and how actually it was a better fit for me because in my career, prior to joining Jojamart, I actually had more experience in menswear than I did in women's wear. But, I was doing well in women's anyway, and could learn something new. So even though I may have been out of men's for a few years at this point, I still remembered enough about it and was flexible enough that I had no problem transitioning. And Olivier was super excited to hear me say that. When he came out of the meeting, however, he would not look at me. He would not talk to me. It was maybe a 15-minute meeting, and in that time, everything changed. Hey, Mushy! Welcome back. Welcome in. Thank you for joining this afternoon. We're going to some more of my Jojamart Diaries. Hey there, Blue. I fucking miss Robin! Oh my god! I was over there chopping trees all fucking day, and I finally get to her house, and I missed her. She's leaving. She's leaving! Go back to work! Go back to work. Go back to work. Robin, go back to work. Robin. Robin, no, no, no. Oh. Well, serves me right, I guess. Just yapping. And I don't even, well, yeah, I just have enough trees. So anyway, or enough wood. So let me go ahead and just go to the community center and I guess gather more wood so I pass out. What can you do? But yeah, Olivier came out of that meeting and he would not speak to me. I later went to his technical designer and kind of asked her, like, what the fuck happened? And she said that Garth had gotten to him. Garth had told him, oh man, I need 500 wood. I don't know about all that, because I need that for my house upgrade, so we're gonna have to like wait on the wood actually. Oh, but I can finish the bundle do I want to finish the bundle tonight and wait on the wood, or do I want to get my house? Decisions. I'm gonna get the house first. I'm gonna wait on the bundle. Robin said, it is 5 o'clock home. You waited. Robin went the fuck home. Oh, this is a new guy, Victor. Hi. But yeah, Garth had gotten to Olivier. I later heard that he told Olivier that I was very, very hard to work with, that maybe I seemed really nice, like, to other people, but in actuality, I needed a lot of direction. Oh shit, I tapped on a persimmon. I didn't mean to do that. Damn, that sucks. If it's a fruit tree, I want it, like, kind of where I know I can, I'm not gonna kill it, so I think I'm gonna leave it there instead. It's a better place for it. So he told Olivier that I was hard to work with, that I needed a lot of direction, that it may seem like I was independent, but I actually wasn't, and that he was behind the scenes actually like constantly having to check up on me, constantly having to redo my work. Pretty much any lie he could think of to make me look bad. But Olivier being new and Garth being kind of a senior employee at the company, he took his word for it. And the men's transfer was passed me by. I mean, obviously I was pretty upset about it. And, you know, because it was the second time at this point in 2 years that I had tried to, like, leave Garth and just move to a different desk. Literally a lateral move. And it was the second time in 2 years that he blocked it. The person who ended up getting the position was Noah. Oh, Mushy says, Victor is cute. You know, Victor actually is cute, but I don't think he's romanceable, which is sad. Let's check. Victor is romanceable. He's romanceable. So maybe we can try to romance Victor. We might try to romance Victor. This sounds okay. I'm down. I actually kind of want to romance all the characters who are romanceable because I want to see all their cutscenes. But I'm totally down to push hard on Victor. So next time we see him, we'll find out his favorite items and everything like that, and we're gonna love bomb him until he falls in love with us. All right, gonna go to sleep for the night. Level 5 foraging. I'm gonna go for Forester. I'll change to Gatherer later. anyway, the partnership between Olivier and Noah ended up being a whole disaster. That played out over time, but it ended up being really, really bad. And again, it wasn't that like Olivier was wrong, it wasn't that Noah was wrong, it was both. It was kind of a combination of like both of them just being like so new to Jojamart and just like not having a lot of experience there, and Noah kind of being new to the game in general, and just like not having the experience to support somebody who was like coming from a different country and, you know, needed to learn the culture as well as the actual like corporate culture. They were not a well-suited match and ended up getting into a lot of extremely loud fights, which eventually ended up in one of them leaving. I'll leave you to guess which one left, because we're going to pivot to the next person who entered the Jojamart family in a second. But needless to say that Garth, after me trying to transfer to Olivier's apartment, really buckled down on like the fact that I wasn't allowed to talk to anybody. He brought it up with the director and started calling me a gossip. He told the director that I had said really terrible things about him to Garth, and that the things that I had talked about his management style were really concerning. I told Garth that I was doing the majority of the work and that I could take on the work because that's what I was already doing. And I think Olivier. I told Olivier that I could take on, you know, him as a new manager because I was already doing a lot of the work. I understood it. I told Olivier that I was not afraid about working on multiple projects at once because, again, it's something that I was used to doing at Jojamart and had kind of like mastered it. However, Garth said that made him look really bad. It made him look like he wasn't doing anything. And pretty much told the director that I was not to be trusted, that I just kind of went around and talked shit. And, yeah. It was like weird because it's like all I've ever said was just the truth of what my experience was, but because he didn't like how it made him look, he tried to reframe it as me being a liar.